2 balls and a strike to count on Taylor. Reyes fires, swinging a drive, deep left field. It's his way back. Welcome on, Chris Taylor.
What's up, everyone? Welcome into DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined today by Matt Moreno. Matt, fun conversation today. Some Freddie Freeman news around the Dodgers. This from John Heyman, quote, "Everybody figured Freeman would be going back to the Braves, but I think at this point you could say it's not a definite. I don't think there's any way around that. My understanding is he wants 6 years, around $180 million, and it doesn't seem unreasonable to me with what he's accomplished." He goes on to say, the Dodgers do make some sense. They could slide Muncie over to second. Obviously, with losing Seager, it takes a big left-handed bat out of the lineup. He adds that the Yankees are one of these teams involved, but this has gone from a pipe dream to maybe actually in play.
Yeah, it's definitely been interesting to see how, the Freddie Freeman situation unfolded as free agency was kind of happening at a breakneck pace right before the lockout. And I'll admit, going into the offseason, Freddie Freeman wasn't somebody that I had on my board of, who the Dodgers could or should target.
Yeah.
And I think, like Heyman alluded to, it was pretty much a foregone conclusion that of course, he was going to be back in Atlanta.
Yeah.
They just won the World Series, drafted by the Braves, loves not only the franchise, but the team. Him and his wife are the city, him and his wife are very involved with giving back and all that. And so, it was only a matter of time, right?
Yeah.
But then you kind of started hearing, well, wait a minute, the Braves contract negotiations aren't really going that well. Obviously, the Dodgers lose Seager. Obviously, there's some uncertainty with Max Muncy since he, casually revealed he has a torn UCL in his right elbow. So now I'm fully on board. I'm fully on board with the Freddie Freeman train.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, it's like 6 years and $180 million. If that's what he's asking for, that isn't unreasonable at all. Like most of the time, when you hear what he's asking for, you're like, well, okay, maybe. Like I see the Seager number, I'm like, geez, Louise, Freeman for $6 and $180 million is a no-brainer to me. Let me throw some numbers at you. This is going back to 2016. Okay, I want to compare Freddie Freeman's numbers to two of the two other highest-priced offensive guys that will come off the board this offseason. That is Corey Seager, who's already off the board, Carlos Correa, who we hope is not a Dodger at any point. But let me just give you Freeman's numbers compared to Correa and Seager, okay? Since 2016, Seager has accumulated 22.1 wins above replacement, Correa 21.7. Freddie Freeman, 27.4 wins above replacement, so 5.3 higher than Seager. Weighted runs created plus, an offensive stat, Seager 131, Correa 127, Freddie Freeman 145. Home runs, Correa's got 111, Seager's got 100, Freeman 167 home runs. Last one, OPS, Seager 865, Correa 834. How about this one? Freddie Freeman 946 OPS. He hits left-handed, and by the way, let me mention this. He has missed more than 4 games just one time since 2016. He has missed more than 4 games just one time since 2016 compared to Seager and Correa, who have missed over 200 games over that stretch. To me, this is an absolute no-brainer. They need a left-handed bat. They can shuffle Muncie around to second base and fill all the holes. I don't understand. If he wants 6 and 180, I hope the only reason he's not a Dodger is because he's desperately holding out hope that the Braves are going to make him an offer at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a really unique situation, I think, for the Dodgers where you can save money compared to what they would have re-signed Corey Seager for, what you would have to, either the Dodgers or any team presumably are going to have to spend for Carlos Correa. But you're getting a player who, as you just illustrated with all those stats, is just as productive.
He's more productive. There's not a single number offensively
durable
that you can find that says he's not more productive than Corey Seager and Carlos Correa. That stat does not exist.
Yeah. I mean, so like you said, it's a no-brainer at this point. I think I still am hesitant to predict that the Dodgers will sign Freddie Freeman away, even though he is a Southern California native. And to spin off, what Heyman reported, David Vassegh had right before the lockout that, to his knowledge, the Braves hadn't even made a contract offer yet, and that Freeman was growing, quote, a little impatient with them. Now, Vassegh did add he thinks the lockout is going to actually work in the Braves' favor because of how their ownership is structured, that it could give them more time to kind of collect money and put a big offer together. I have been on the other side of the coin where I think the Braves significantly, miscalculated this by not re-signing kind of your franchise cornerstone before the lockout. And it's not like teams weren't spending, right? Like we saw it, there were big players willing and ready to sign. And I think had the Braves presented Freddie Freeman with a contract offer or an offer that he felt was what he is, worth, that he would have already been back with them. And so for me, this kind of time away, the lockout, can kind of, maybe lead to some frustration.
I was of the belief that if he signed before the lockout, that was good news for the Dodgers, because you almost wanted him to make a rash decision of like, screw the Braves. We're going back home. We're going back to Southern California. Whereas the longer he sits, the more time the Braves have to realize how stupid they're behaving, the more time they have to just sort of offer him the dollars and cents that he wants. And I know we'll get people in the comments saying he's 32 years old, a 6-year contract. But I mean, for me, again, he plays good defense. And the durability is the thing. Like, yes, Seager is 5 years younger than Freddie Freeman, but like, I would bank on Freeman's health for the next 6 years through his age 38 season, probably more than I would bank on Seager's health through his age 33, 34 season. Even though there's that big of a gap, Freeman plays a less demanding defensive position, and he just has proven durability. I mean, that number, he has not missed more than 4 games once since 2016. That's a remarkable statistic. And so I think with the durability you're getting a better bat. Again, more home runs, higher OPS, higher weighted runs created, more wins above replacement. I mean, every statistic, it is better for Freddie Freeman. To me, this makes all the sense in the world. The fact that he's an Orange County native, just the cherry on top for me. And so I agree with you. I don't think it's likely. Like, I still think the Braves would have to be the heavy, heavy favorite. But when this thing ends, and every day that goes by where he is not signing with the Atlanta Braves, I think is good news for the Dodgers. Let me ask you one related question. Obviously, Freeman coming. Are you comfortable with Max Muncie at second base? Like, does that worry you? Muncie's a great defensive first baseman. This has nothing to do with him other than he's versatile and Freddie Freeman would not. So would you have any concern with moving Muncie to second base?
I think there'd be a little bit of concern, but I think he's capable of playing it. And also, the expectation is the universal DH is going to be in play next year. And with Muncie's elbow, like, the Dodgers may decide, hey, we're going to just limit his time in the field, period, because we don't want him throwing. Obviously, indications at this point are he's not going to undergo surgery, so they're going to try to rehab and kind of nurse him through that. So if he's just swinging a bat, maybe that alleviates some of the wear and tear. It's worth it. I mean, it's Freddie Freeman, like you said, even though he is 32, first base, it's not a position where it's not shortstop, right? Where once you start to lose your agility, then you're in a lot of trouble. And I know I just mentioned Muncie for the universal DH, but Freddie Freeman could also slide into that as he advances.
Yeah, and the bonus on all this is we know he can hit in the offseason, unfortunately, or in the postseason, excuse me. Unfortunately, we know that all too well because it's typically against the Dodgers. But as good as Corey Seager was in that NLCS against the Braves, I mean, there were arguments to be made that Freddie Freeman was actually better. It's just that Corey Seager's team ended up winning. At least was equal. I know every time he came up, I just assumed an extra base hit was coming. It felt like everything we threw him was going into the seats. So Freddie Freeman coming to Dodgers, I think, would be the ultimate way to salvage the offseason, because it wouldn't be like you know what, okay, we're getting 75% of what we had. I would rather have Freddie Freeman than Corey Seager. That might sound crazy to most people. Obviously, they played different positions. Yeah,
I hope Daniel.
Well, I think Daniel might be on board. He said some things about Corey Seager. I'm kind of worried about Daniel, so we'll have to check on him with that. But let us know what you think. I mean, Freddie Freeman, would you rather have him? Like, would this, if the Dodgers were to sign Freeman, would this be a net positive for the offseason, or would that still be a loss for you? Let us know below. Obviously, a lot less money and a lot less years are all bonuses there. So that's Matt Moreno. My name's Jeff Spiegel. Check out DodgerBlue.com for all the latest. DodgerBlue1958 on social media and DodgerBlue1958 right here on YouTube. Click subscribe, ring the notification bell. We got content every single day throughout the lockout. So enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you next time.